Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex James, and I'm really excited for today's video because we're diving deep into a topic that's both incredibly fascinating and layered: the psychology of girls. Whether you're a girl trying to understand yourself better, a parent raising a daughter, or someone who just wants to learn more about the female experience, this video is definitely for you. Now, this is a huge topic, so we're going to cover a lot of ground today. We'll discuss everything from emotional development, social dynamics, and self-esteem, to body image, societal expectations, and how we can better support girls as they grow. By the end of this, I hope you'll have a much clearer idea of the inner workings of the female mind and how we can all be better allies, parents, mentors, and friends. So, grab a snack or a drink, settle in, and let's jump right into it. Let's start by talking about emotional development, something that's often one of the first areas where we notice differences between boys and girls. You've probably heard that girls tend to develop emotional intelligence earlier than boys, and there's a lot of truth to that. Research shows that girls are usually more expressive and empathetic from a young age, and there's a reason for this. It's not just about biology, though that does play a part, but also about how society shapes the way girls are raised. From a very early age, girls are often taught to be sensitive to the feelings of others, and this is reinforced by the way they're socialized. A good example of this is the kinds of toys girls are given. You've probably noticed that girls are often handed dolls or stuffed animals, toys that encourage caretaking and empathy. These toys promote nurturing behaviors and often teach girls to consider how others are feeling. On the other hand, boys are typically given action figures, toy trucks, or building blocks, things that encourage independence, action, and problem solving. This early exposure to different types of play can have a big impact on how girls learn to express and understand their emotions. But while this emotional depth can be a real strength, it does come with some challenges. For one, this emotional sensitivity can sometimes lead to overthinking. Girls tend to spend more time processing and analyzing their feelings and interactions with others. Did I say the wrong thing? Did I come off as too much? These kinds of thoughts can be draining, especially when they start to internalize stress rather than expressing it. If a girl feels overwhelmed or upset, she might carry that weight inside, trying to process it on her own, and that can be really exhausting. This is why it's so important to create spaces where girls feel safe and supported enough to express their feelings without fear of judgment. When they can open up about their experiences, they start to feel validated, and that's such a crucial part of emotional development. It's about encouraging open communication and letting them know that their feelings are normal and worthy of attention. Now, I can speak to this from personal experience. When I was a teenager, I used to overanalyze every single interaction I had with my friends. Every text, every conversation. Did I say the wrong thing? Did I come off as awkward or weird? It would take up so much mental energy, and in the end, it was exhausting. Looking back now, I wish I had known that it was okay not to have everything figured out, that it's totally normal to feel uncertain, and sometimes we don't have all the answers. I wish I had trusted myself a little more and given myself more grace during those years. So, with emotional development in mind, let's move on to social dynamics. This is an area where we see a lot of the societal influences coming into play, because girls are often socialized to place a great deal of emphasis on their relationships and connections with others. Building strong relationships with friends, family, and even romantic partners is often seen as one of the most important things for girls, and in many ways, this can be a really beautiful thing. Girls tend to be very good at building strong, supportive networks, and they often prioritize the well-being of those around them. But as much as this social drive can be a strength, it can also lead to some challenges, especially when it comes to things like people-pleasing and a fear of conflict. For instance, have you ever noticed how girls tend to apologize more than boys, even when they haven't done anything wrong? It's something that a lot of girls do without even thinking about it. It's almost like they're trying to smooth things over, to avoid upsetting anyone. That's because girls are often taught from a young age that it's important to maintain harmony and keep everyone around them happy. This desire to keep the peace, though, can sometimes work against their self-confidence. If a girl is always apologizing for things that aren't her fault, she may start to doubt herself. She might think, did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough? And that kind of thinking can be harmful in the long run. I want you to think about this for a second. Do you find yourself saying sorry all the time, even when you don't need to? Maybe someone bumps into you and you apologize, or you say sorry just to avoid making someone uncomfortable. Why do you think that is? I want you to take a moment and really reflect on that. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Let me take a moment to talk about a really interesting study by psychologist Carol Gilligan, who examined how girls navigate social relationships, especially during adolescence. Gilligan found that girls, particularly during their teenage years, tend to prioritize relationships over their own individual needs. This can lead to something she calls losing their voice. In other words, girls may suppress their own opinions, desires, or emotions in order to avoid conflict or make sure they don't upset anyone else. This is such an important thing to recognize, especially for parents or mentors of young girls. One of the best things you can do for them is to encourage them to find their voice. Teach them that it's okay to disagree, that their opinions matter, and that they don't always have to keep the peace at the expense of their own feelings. Let them know it's okay to assert themselves and to stand up for what they believe in. It's about helping them build the confidence to speak their truth. Now, let's turn to the topic of self-esteem and body image, which is something that affects many girls, especially as they enter their teen years. Research shows that girls' confidence levels tend to peak around age 9 or 10, but then it often starts to decline during puberty. So, what's going on there? Well, a huge factor is the pressure girls face to meet societal standards of beauty, success, and popularity. You don't need to look far to see the unrealistic expectations that are placed on girls. Just think about the way the media portrays beauty. From an early age, girls are bombarded with images of perfect bodies, flawless skin, and unattainable standards of beauty. These images are all over social media, TV shows, movies, and advertisements, and they're constantly telling girls that they need to look a certain way in order to be accepted or valued. And let's not forget that this pressure doesn't just come from the media. It's also reinforced by their peers and even by family members. As a result, many girls start to struggle with body image issues, feeling that they don't measure up to the images they see around them. This can lead to a sharp decline in self-esteem, particularly during adolescence when appearance starts to feel like it's everything. I remember when I first became self-conscious about my body. It was in middle school, and I had a classmate make a comment about my weight. That one remark stuck with me for years and contributed to my own negative body image. It wasn't until much later that I realized how much power those kinds of comments had over me. It took a lot of time and effort to work through those thoughts and to learn to appreciate my body for what it was, not for how it looked, but for its health, its strength, and everything it allowed me to do. For parents or anyone mentoring girls, It's so important to be mindful of the language you use around body image. Be conscious of how you talk about your own body and how you talk about others. If you constantly make negative comments about how you or someone else looks, it reinforces the idea that appearance is the most important thing. Instead, focus on health and well-being. Teach girls that their worth is not tied to their appearance and that they don't need to conform to a specific look in order to be beautiful or valuable. This brings us to another big issue: the societal pressures that girls face to be good or perfect. How many times have you heard someone say, "She's such a good girl," or "She's so polite and well-behaved"? These kinds of comments are often meant as compliments, but they also reinforce the idea that girls need to behave in a way that conforms to a certain ideal. There's this expectation for girls to be polite, quiet, agreeable, and basically perfect. But what happens if a girl doesn't fit into this mold? What if she's loud, outspoken, or a little rebellious? Is she still seen as a good girl? This is where the good girl syndrome comes into play. Girls may feel that they need to suppress their authentic selves to fit into what society deems acceptable for their gender. They might feel pressured to act in a way that pleases others, even if it means suppressing their own desires or feelings. I'll share another personal story here. When I was younger, I was often told to smile more. It was as though my natural expression wasn't enough, and I was supposed to appear happy all the time. For a while, it really bothered me, because it made me feel like I wasn't enough as I was. But eventually, I realized that I didn't need to smile just to make other people comfortable. I could express myself however I wanted, and that was okay. So, for anyone who's raising or mentoring girls, one of the best things you can do is encourage them to embrace their individuality. Let them know it's okay to be different, and that they don't have to conform to any particular ideal to be loved or accepted. Help them find the courage to express themselves authentically. All right, now we're going to wrap things up with some practical ways that we can all support the girls in our lives. Whether you're a parent, teacher, mentor, or just someone who wants to help, here are a few tips. 1. Listen actively and without judgment. When a girl opens up about her feelings or experiences, give her your full attention and let her know that her emotions are valid. 2. Encourage healthy risk-taking. Help girls feel comfortable stepping outside their comfort zone. Whether it's trying out for a sports team, taking on a new challenge at school, or speaking up in a group, support them as they take risks and learn from their mistakes. 3rd, challenge stereotypes. Be intentional about showing girls diverse role models, women who are strong, ambitious, and unapologetically themselves. Help them understand that they don't have to fit into a box to be successful or worthy. 4. Promote self-care. Teach girls the importance of mental and physical health. Encourage them to take care of themselves, both inside and out, and to prioritize self-love and self-respect. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you wish more people understood about girls? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this video. I hope you found it helpful and insightful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who might benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe to Psychology Hub for more content like this. And once more, let me know in the comments. What's something you wish more people understood about girls? I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.